Okay. Good afternoon. I am Dr. Satyendra Srivastava, teaching philosophy in Hansraj College, University of Delhi. In e-Samvaad program, we shall do today Venn diagram. Venn diagram. Venn diagram, it is a method or technique to check the validity or invalidity of a categorical syllogism. This method is very useful in philosophy to solve some problems in logic, and also it is very useful in competitive examinations like UPSC, state PCS, UGC, and CDS and banking. Venn diagram, it was given by John Venn, a British logician who gave this theory in 1916. It is an advanced version of L. Euler's methods of validity. L. Euler is a Swiss mathematician who explained the concept of validity in a different mathematical form. As we know, Venn diagram method, it is a technique to check the validity or invalidity of categorical syllogism. Categorical syllogism. Categorical syllogism are made of categorical proposition. Categorical proposition. So it is better to start from the categorical proposition to conceptualize what is categorical syllogism than Venn diagram method. We know that there are four types. First, we know what is categorical proposition. Categorical proposition are those, in short, we say CP. Categorical proposition are those propositions in which we state a relation between subject and predicate categorically. That is, without any condition. For example, if I say all flowers are beautiful, then we are stating a relation between flower and beautiful categorically. It doesn't matter that flower is a rose or lotus or marigold or it is different in its color. If it's something is flower, then it must be beautiful. So this is based on an unconditional or categorical relation between subject and predicate. In a different way, we can say that when we state a relation between one class of object to the other class of object, then it is also called categorical proposition. There are four types of categorical proposition. Four types of categorical proposition. Number one is A, second is E, third is I, four is O. It is universal affirmative, universal negative, universal affirmative, it is universal negative, it is particular affirmative, and this is particular negative. From a logical point of view, a class can be explained in two different ways. That is, first we can say that is an empty class, and second is non-empty class. an empty class and non-empty class. An empty class is that which does not contain any member in its group or class. For example, if I say like all Pegasus, all Pegasus are beautiful, or you can say all golden mountains are white, all golden mountains are white. Okay, this is an empty class because Pegasus, this is a term used in Greek mythology. It represents a flying horse. We don't know there is any flying. We don't know there is any flying horse. So, if you make the class like this one, suppose this is the class of Pegasus, so it will be an empty class as it does not represent any member. Or when we say that all golden mountains are white, it will be like this one. Suppose this is the class of golden mountain, and we know there is no golden mountain as such. In that case, this class will be an empty class. This class will be an empty class, that is G is equal to 0. G is equal to 0, like this one. Okay. Like this one. Now, just see non-empty class. Non-empty class means a class which has some member. For example, if I say some fruits are sweet, or this example, some students are are some students are honest. Some students are honest. Here it means there is a one fruit and that is sweet. That is, it has some member. This is the class of fruit. It has some member. This is the class of fruit. It has some member. So that is, it is not 0 or it is non-empty class. In the same way you can say, in the same way you can say some students are honest. Suppose this is the class of students. It means there is at least one person who is a student and who is honest, and that will be non-empty class. That is, F is not equal to 0, S is not equal to 0. Here as Pegasus or Golden Mountain, this will be 0, like you can see in this way. This is the class of Golden Mountain. We don't know is there any golden mountain, as we have not seen. Therefore, you can say all golden mountains are white, all golden mountains are beautiful. This will be all a 0. Now, on this basis, if we try to explain the nature of A, E, I, O, in that case, we first explain A in a like this way. All, you can say all dogs are animals. All dogs are animal. What does it mean? It means that there is not a single dog which is not an animal. That is, if you make a class that include dog but exclude animal, will be an empty class. In a different way you can say, if there is a class which include dog, there is a class which represent dog but which does not represent animal, that will be an empty class. That is, suppose this is the class of dog and this is the class of animal. D, this is the class of animal. This represent those creatures which are both dog and animal. This represent those animals which are not dog, like you can say cat, elephant, camels, etc. This represent those creatures which are dog but not animal. Have you seen any dog that is not an animal? Your answer will be 0. That is D A bar is equal to 0. That is, if you symbolize universal affirmative in the form of this one, it will be D A bar is equal to 0. Bar means you are negating, that is, you are including D and you are excluding A. And its symbol is like to shed that portion. This one. This is the all dogs are animal. Now E. Next one E. Suppose if you see no books are pens. No books are pens. Like this one. It's a very simple example. That is, what does it mean? It means that there is not a single entity which is both book and pen. That is, if you make a class which include both book and pen, that will be an empty class. That is, suppose this is the class of book and this is the class of pen, and you are defining like this one. This one is that class which include both book and pen. How many objects you have seen in your experience that which are both book and pen? Your answer will be 0. That is, there is nothing common between book and pen. In a simple way, you can say like, suppose like no human beings are God. Like this one. No human beings are God. This is the class of human being and this is the class of God, and we are saying that human being and God, that is, there is not a single person who is, there is not a single individual who is a human being and who is God. Therefore, HG is equal to 0. Now, third one will be I. See this example. Some teachers are logicians. Some teachers are logician. It means there is at least one individual who is a teacher and who is also a logician. That is, suppose this is the class of T and this is the class of L. So this is the class of T, this is the class of L. And we are saying that there are some people who are both teacher and who are both logician. So it will be like this one, like this one, that is, which include T and include L, will be a non-empty class, that is X. Non-empty means it has some member in its group or in its class. This is TL is not equal to 0. Other example, you can say like some flowers are red. That is, there is at least one object which is a flower and which is red. That is, FR is not equal to 0 like this one. FR is not equal to 0 like this one. Now, O is like particular negative. We can say like some Indians are not, you can say, Punjabi. Some Indians are not Punjabi. Some Indians are not Punjabi. Suppose this is the class of Indian and this is the class of Punjabi. What does it mean? It means there is at least one individual who is an Indian but not Punjabi. That is the class which include Indian but exclude Punjabi, like this one, will be a non-empty class. For example, you can say like Sachin Tendulkar, you can say like Saurabh Ganguly, you can say like APJ Kalam. That is, these people are those Indian who are not Punjabi. So it will be like I P bar is not equal to 0, like this one. I P bar is not equal to 0, like this one. In a different way, you can say like some other example. Suppose if you say some Nobel laureates are not Indian, some Nobel laureates, or suppose this is Nobel laureate, this is Indian, that will be N I bar is not equal to 0. Like you can say Madame Curie, like you can say like Albert Einstein, like you can say Jean Paul Sartre, like you can say Bertrand Russell. These are the Nobel laureates but not Indian. That is the class which include Nobel laureate but exclude Indian will be a non-empty class. This one will be a non-empty class. Now, on the basis of A, E, I, O, if you want to make a general comparison, those who have studies logic at basic level, they can understand like this one. This is A, this is E, this is I, this is O. A, you can say all SSP, no SSP, some SSP, some S is not P. So in the standard format, it will be S P bar is equal to 0. We know the relation between A and O is known as relation of contradiction. So O will be yes P bar is not equal to 0. We know E, that is yes P, no SSP, it will be yes P is equal to 0. We know the relation between E and I is like a relation of contradiction. So SP is not equal to 0. That is, on this standard format, you can evaluate this is an empty class, this is an empty class, this is a non-empty class, this is a non-empty class. Now, on the basis of this formulation, we can check the validity of a categorical syllogism. Categorical syllogism are made of categorical proposition. As we have done here, all above are representation of categorical proposition. Now, just see this example, like all Indians are mortal, all Indians are mortal, all Marathi are Indian. Just 1 minute. I have to all Gujarati are Indians. Therefore, all Gujarati are mortal. All Gujarati are mortal. This is a categorical syllogism made of categorical proposition. This, and this is conclusion. Now, just see, if you want to make the Venn diagram of this one, that the class of Indian, class of mortal, it will be I M bar is equal to 0. That is, there is not a single Indian who is not mortal. Now, second will be all Gujarati are Indian, it will be G I bar is equal to 0. Now, third one will be G M is not equal, Gm bar is equal to 0. That is, there is not a single Gujarati who is not a mortal. Now, this is the way how we make Venn diagram like this one. One thing we have to remember, please, that is your lower circle will always represent the middle term of the categorical syllogism. That is, here middle term is Indian, that is which occurs in both the premises but not in the conclusion. So Indian, that is middle term, will represent your lower circle. This is the class of Indian, and subject term of the conclusion like G, Gujarati, is your the left circle, and mortal is your right circle. Now just see first one. I m bar is equal to 0. I m bar is equal to 0. That is, which include I, oh, अरे ये क्या हो गया? अच्छा, this is the class of Gujarati, this is the class of mortal, and this is the class of Indian, as it represent the lower circle, yeah, middle term. Now first one is I m bar is equal to 0. That is, which include I but exclude m. This one, this should be 0, and to represent 0, you just remember the earlier one, that is, we have to set that portion. We have to set that portion. Now this one. Now other one is G I bar is equal to 0. That is second one, which include G but exclude I. That is this one, G but exclude I. Like this one, G but exclude I, like this one. So it will be this one. Now conclusion is G m bar is equal to 0. Now this is G m bar, that is which include G but exclude m. Just see here please, in a more careful way, like this one. Like this one, that is G including G excluding M. Is it 0 or not? Please note, to identify it 0 or not 0. If it is 0, it means it is completely shaded, that is that portion is shaded. If not, it means either it will be not shaded or it has the sign of X in its domain. Now you just see, this one is shaded, therefore this argument is valid. One important thing we have to learn here, that is, when we make the Venn diagram of a categorical syllogism, we should make Venn diagram only of the premises and not of the conclusion. Okay. That is, while making the Venn diagram of the premises, if conclusion is logically proved, then argument is valid. If not, then argument will be invalid. This is something we have to understand. That is, I repeat, in Venn diagram method, there is no need to make the Venn diagram of the conclusion. We have to make only the Venn diagram of the premises, and after making the Venn diagram of the premises, if conclusion is proved, then argument is valid. If not, then argument is invalid. Just see another example to make it more clear. Like see this example, all Indians are human beings. all Indians are human beings, all Bengalis are human beings, therefore all Bengalis are Indians. All Bengalis are Indians. This is A, and this is in whole, it is a categorical syllogism. If you just want to translate this one, if you make the Venn diagram of this one, it will be I H bar is equal to 0. That is, there is not a single Indian which is not a human being. That is, the class which include Indian but exclude human being will be an empty class. Now, second one, all Bengalis are human being. This is Bengali and this is human being. This will be an empty class. Now, the last one is, that is conclusion is B I bar is equal to 0. Bengali Indians. Now, just make on this basis Venn diagram. It will be like this one. This is the class of Bengali. This is the class of Indian, and this is the class of human beings. As per definition, first is all Indians are human beings, that is, which include I but exclude human being. Include I but exclude human being, it should be 0, and we have to set that part like this one, okay? Like this one. And this is 0. Second one is BH bar, that is B is your this one, and which exclude H like this one, so this will be 0. This will be 0. This will be 0. Now, conclusion is BI bar, that is, that include B but exclude I. Just see this one, that include B but exclude I. Is it 0? No, because here this portion, just see here this portion, we are not sure about this one because neither it is shaded nor it has been mentioned like X. So, since it has been not mentioned what is its status, that is shaded or non-shaded. So, at least one thing is clear, that it is not 0. It means on the basis of these two premises, conclusion is not proved, that is BI bar is equal to 0. BI bar is equal to 0. So, this will be invalid. This will be invalid. I repeat, in Venn diagram method, we do not make the Venn diagram of the conclusion, rather we just make the Venn diagram of the premises, that is IH bar is equal to 0, Indians are human being, IH bar is equal to 0, BH bar is equal to 0, that is BH bar is equal to 0, BI bar, this is requirement of the conclusion, that is on the basis of these two, if premises, on the basis of these two, if conclusion is proved, then it is valid. If not, then it is invalid. In this case, the conclusion is not proved. Therefore, this argument is invalid. Those who have studied 6 rules of categorical syllogism or formal rules of categorical syllogism, they can also cross-check as it is invalid because it has fallacy of undistributed middle term. That is, middle term is here, human being. It is undistributed in both the premises. So, this argument is also invalid. You can cross-check by, it is called UN. It is UNDM, fallacy of undistributed middle term. Thank you. We shall do some more problem on the basis of this structure in coming series. Thank you, please.